Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. About 7:15 a.m. here on the East Coast. Prices of BTC currently at 82.59. And today's analysis, I'm going to try to cover a decent amount of stuff so y'all can try to figure out, exactly if you want to go long or short. And I'm going to give you my analysis and my overview of what I think price is going to do and what I'm going to potentially be looking for longs and shorts. Okay, so first things first, I wanted to start off with the smaller time frames, which is the 15-minute. All right, so yesterday what happened was we saw this sort of movement right here where we topped off right around $8,300, and then we kind of went sideways, and then we had this big spike up. This basically trapped some longs up here, right? Also shorted, or also stopped out some shorts. Okay, and then the price dumped down, and it looks like, it looked like it was really going to go lower and lower. But what it really did was trap some longs up here, basically get them to close out their positions, and then it started reversing back up right overnight. Okay, and now we also tested this pivot on the 15-minute chart, which is about 82.40 as support, as you can see. See, it was resistance right there, and it broke through, tested it as support. Now I'm looking for this thing to see if it could push higher. But you could see, again, the monthly open is right around the area, $8,300. That's the area that we've been struggling to break above. Okay, so if price does break above the monthly open right here, then the ceiling for the price is higher. And I'll show you guys exactly where that is. Okay, so let's go back to that 4-hour chart first. Okay, so first things first, on this 4-hour chart, I've mentioned that there's a couple different ways to draw this trading range. The trading range is at this top about $8,800 or so, down to about $7,700. Okay, and recently, 2-3 days ago, we had this bottom that was put in with this low right around 78.50 or so, and then we double bottomed, and then we pushed up really nicely, right? And now we're basically flagging here on a 4-hour time frame. But you could see that no candle has closed above this 82.50, this yellow marker right here. Okay, this 4-hour candle right here has about 40 minutes to go. So if this closes as is, right, that means that we could then have more bullish upside, because if you look closely, okay, all these candles, they all close below this 82.50 area. And where am I getting that 82.50? Well, it's basically these two candles that topped off this trend. Okay, sometimes it's just simple as drawing a horizontal line and waiting for that horizontal line to either push candles to break up above it, or have some significant breakage to downside. And so far, all we're really doing is kind of just moving up and down sideways alongside this 82.50 marker. So this breaker right here around 82.50 is of critical importance for us to watch. So by the time you watch this video, right, you will probably see if this candle broke above it or broke below it. And if it breaks below, this is where things get interesting. Okay, so if you look at this consolidation period right here before this next thrust up, right, we actually landed right previously on this particular area, this resistance right here, right there, and then pushed up. That actually lines up with this particular area, I would say. Okay, this particular resistance previously. So that's around 81.75 and a low of about 81.30. Okay, so my point is that we could still make it back down all the way to about 81.30, which is another $130 drop, and then still push up. Okay, so this is why longing and shorting in this area must have stops on either side to figure out what the price is going to do, because so far price is not telling you that it's going to do anything. Okay, it's really just moving sideways. And in my opinion, I think what it's really doing is it's waiting to see which side has lined up the most amount of longs or shorts. Because this market has not been so liquid lately, there's not a lot of interest to trade in this range. Price is really just going sideways often and moving up and down just to hunt for liquidity. And I've said this before in my previous videos, is in low liquidity environments, right? When there's not a whole lot of spot buying happening, meaning on Coinbase or Bitstamp or Kraken, all these exchanges where you actually buy the Bitcoin, okay? If there's not a whole lot of actual buying happening, right? What bots and algorithms or even professionals would do is they will go to exchanges like BitMEX or Bybit or CME futures, and they will push the price around, okay? Because they will be hunting for liquidity. Where exactly does liquidity lie for price to hunt down some stops, generate more BTC for those who are moving the price, okay? So in this particular case, the case can be made, right, that there is more liquidity trapped up here, okay? So the high of this area, I'm going to make that a little bit more clear, okay? So the high of this area right here, so you can see all these wicks poking up, right? The high of this area is right around 82.30, let's just say, right? So we can mark that out, okay? 84.30, and then another case could be made around this area, okay? Which is about 84.85. Let's just say 8,500 to be safe, okay? So these two yellow markers have a lot of liquidity sitting up here. Now, how do I know that? Well, if you look at this structure right here before the breakdown, right, most people either shorted in this area or they shorted when the price was breaking down, and their stops are sitting right above the wicks. How do I know that? Because that's how most traders trade. They will keep their stop above the previous high. And if so far, right, what price has done is this, right? It went for a double bottom right here and then it pushed up all the way. So what has it hunted for liquidity so far? Well, it definitely, squeezed out the late shorters down here, right? So everyone who shorted right here is done. They're squeezed out of their positions, or if they're hanging on to their shorts still, they're in very, deep negative red right now because the price is all the way up here. Okay, so if they're hanging on at some point, they're either going to let go here when the price pushes up, or they'll definitely let go or get liquidated when price reaches up here or up here, right? So far, these people have definitely gotten squeezed out. There is also probably, right, stop sitting right above this area because people shorted over here, and they probably kept their stops just above the wick of this one. So that's about 81.30, right? Those people definitely got either liquidated or they're still in the negative on their shorts because price is now at 82.67. So you can see this area definitely squeezed out some shorts. This area definitely squeezed out some shorts. This area right here definitely squeezed out some shorts too because price is above that. Again, we don't really know if they're liquidated. We just know that those people are in the negative. And as price climbs up higher and higher, those people will be more inclined to close out their positions if they haven't already. And once price hits this yellow marker or this yellow marker, then you'll add more fuel to the fire for longs. Why? Because you've then pressured this area down here, this yellow marker, these shorts stops right here, and then these, okay? So when those shorts start closing down their positions, right, that means that the longs are really just fueling the fire and they're going to keep pushing the prices higher and higher. So where is that going to end? Okay, that is going to end, in my opinion, somewhere over here. Okay, I'm going to show you guys this. This is my chart, all right? So I've shown you guys that my sort of ultimate short zone is this particular area right up here. Okay, around $8,400 to $8,450. All right, it could get to a high of about maybe higher than this wick right here. Let's just say 8,500, and your stop will probably have to be up here somewhere around 8,550, maybe 8,575. Okay, if you do decide to short here. So I'm still waiting on that position. I don't know if I want to take it if price is going to close above this area, but if they start showing weakness as they approach this area, I'm definitely going to want to short. Okay, another thing to note is volume, okay, and the oscillators. Okay, so here's the volume sort of it died down over here, wants to pick back up, but we haven't seen an increase in volume with the follow-up candle right here. Again, this candle has 32 minutes to go, so we have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen in this region, right? 4-hour Stochh RSI is, topped off pretty much, but it could still go sideways for a little while, even in the overbought territory. 4-hour RSI has a decent amount of room to go. Something like this could happen even, where we look like we were going to go higher, but all it really did was poke into that area, which is this optimal short zone, because most people are probably looking at this chart and everything that I've told you, at least, say the bots and the professionals are, right? In the same way that I'm talking to you about it. They know exactly what their shorts are, all right? If you're a person who understands technicals and you understand the context of what price is trying to do, for the most part, in this illiquid environment, price is going for hunts. It's literally just going, to hunt its way for liquidity. There's no real buying happening. It's just price is being propped up to reach certain levels to be able to generate liquidity. And so if you understand that, you understand that price could reach up to 8,500 and still resume down, because all it's really doing is hunting for short stops. Okay, so it could get to, get a quick wick into this area and then push down like it did over here. All right, so be wary and don't get caught if you see a big green candle right here just poking up, and then you're trapped, and then price quickly dumps down like it did over here. Okay, as I've said before in many of my videos so far, I've had much more success shorting the bounces every time because they're much more predictable. Longs in this case are a bit tougher because you don't really know exactly when the trend is going to bottom, when it's going to quickly reverse and just push up real fast, or when it generates a low like this and then it dumps further, hits a pretty decent area of demand and then pushes back up. Over here it kind of reversed out of nowhere, right? You could see that it didn't really touch this purple block. It just kind of pushed back up randomly. So in this case, you understand that, longs are a bit tougher to scout out. Shorts are much easier in my opinion, okay? So I'm gonna get rid of these yellow markers, and I also wanna show you guys. So by the way, keep an eye on these prices, right? 84.85, let's just say 8,500, 84.30, 82.50 is a breaker, which we're looking for price to either, close above or just get rejected hard. So yeah. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to mention is, like I said, the earlier 81.30 area, which is, let's just say 81.75 down to about 81.30, this area right here, that's previously support, right? Over here before it broke down, then it became resistance right here. Look for that area to come, for price to come down to right here and use it as support, because the chances are it could still go up like that, okay? So be wary of that, because that's also the 382 fib right there, okay? And the daily chart, all right, so we're seeing somewhat of a bullish candle right here. And this, to me, these two candles right here are kind of analogous to these two right here. So that's why I'm kind of careful in watching this candle, and I don't want to preemptively just short right here, because price could still push up and then ultimately top off and then pull back down, okay? Let's see, we're also above the 4-hour pivot, which is, a good sign as well, right? And we're reaching towards that R1, which is all the way around $8,500. Now remember, I stated earlier that price could still get to 8,500, stop out those short positions, also hit this R1 and then pull back down. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of reasonings for price to, push up some more. Okay, let's see, I haven't quite closed above the monthly open. You can see all these daily candles for the last 2 days right here got rejected and closed under the monthly open. We're now looking at the monthly open currently around 82.97, and this daily candle still has about 12 hours left. Okay, let's see. I've also mentioned this particular chart right here. I'm gonna close out of this, and I stated that, actually it's not that one. Maybe it is this one right here. Nope. Man, I got too many charts. I gotta clean this up a little bit. Okay, let me see. Not that one. Okay, I don't know where it went. You know, looking for a chart and then it disappeared. Oh, there it is. Okay. So here's the chart that I had yesterday, right? So I mentioned yesterday that July through September, when we had this sideways trading range right here, as you can see, right? The trading range was between 9,000 and about 11,000. Okay, you could see price hit that trading range, you know, resistance, broke up above it, support, resistance. That sort of fractal is also visible right here. You know, you can see resistance right there, broke up above it, support, and then resistance again. So one could make the argument that either we're on this path up, okay, so either we're on this path up towards the red block again, or we've already hit the red block over here, and now we're sort of coming down, creating these higher lows like this, and hitting this yellow block, which is also, you know, a decent amount of resistance, right? So if the red block up here around 10,900 wasn't resistance, this yellow block right here was, right? And you could see that for us, that yellow block is around, you know, exactly where price is right now, which is 82.50. Okay, so around 82.50 is where we are currently, and we could be in this particular area, right, or this area where price is struggling to break above, okay, this area, and it keeps hitting it. Goes like this, keeps hitting it, and then rolls over and rolls down, kind of like it did over here. Okay, so it's just a trading range and a fractal that I found was pretty useful. If you find it useful, you know, go for it, use it. So yeah, this is another way to draw the trading range, you know. So there was obviously the one I showed you earlier, which was something like this, which had the trading range high at 8,800, and this one has a trading range high at 8,450, and this was really the fake out, right? And then pulls back down. Okay. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? You know, people keep talking about this thing right here being a head and shoulders. Like, this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder. I mean, personally, I think that's a ridiculous argument, because head and shoulders patterns are reversal patterns. Okay, head and shoulders patterns you should be finding at the top of trends. Inverse head and shoulders you should be finding at the bottom. So when I see something like that, it doesn't really make sense to me. But you could make the argument that over here, right, way back over here, okay, this could be defined as your left shoulder, your head, and something like a crazy right shoulder. Okay, and then that, you know, trend line or neckline, however you want to look at it, is kind of something like this. Okay, and we're probably seeing that same thing right here. That's our neckline right there. Okay, so even if it's not a head and shoulders, the neckline is particularly important. And as you can see, once it breached this neckline on the third attempt, price really just broke on through. So if we were to make the argument that if we go up to 8,400 or so, and next time around when price approaches that neckline, you know, we'll probably break it through and, you know, slice through this $7,700 support right here. Okay, so that is, you know, one of the arguments that definitely could be made. Okay, let's see. I mean, there's ETH BTC I wanted to look at. There it is. Look at this chart right here. Okay, so here's Ethereum BTC. All right, and here's something that's interesting about ETH. Okay, it's already hit this red critical support right here that I'd been talking about. I talked about this red critical support way back here. Oh, I'm sorry, way back here in May. Okay, because I'd drawn this chart in May, I remember, and I stated that, you know, the price of ETH BTC is basically stuck in this parallel channel. And once it broke this area right around beginning of July, I stated that there's going to be more downside. More than likely, it'll hit this red block. We kind of came close to it. We didn't hit it exactly, but we came pretty close to it, right? And now we're actually using this previous area that was support as resistance. So if that happens, what's going to happen is you can see right there, resistance, or I'm sorry, support, and then now it's resistance. If that happens, if we break this, we're going to go down fast and hard. And that's going to be a pretty epic collapse for Ethereum in terms of its, you know, BTC ratio, okay? Excuse me. So do be careful with that. You know, watch Ethereum carefully. I personally think that ETH is also, you know, an asset that could be shorted than, you know, longing right now. There's very few exceptions right now in the space that are potential longs. XRP is one of the very few. Maybe BAT, the USDC pair, is another one, but that's really it. Okay. So yeah, I mean, again, you know, we're above the weekly open, below the monthly open, still struggling in price. I guess, you know, still undecided exactly where we're going to go, but we'll have to see if price closes above 82.50, like I stated earlier. That allows for a push up to, you know, $8,400 and some change, right? Which then brings into our optimal short zone. Okay. All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Again, join the Cryptosomniac Advantage membership, or buy the technical analysis course, and you will get access to all these locked channels. And again, folks, you know, in our community, like, you see these morning analysis, but through the day, I mean, I give multiple analyses for our members, okay? And then I do a nighttime video too. So you don't feel lost over, you know, 8-10 hour span when the US markets are asleep, right? So if you're in Europe or Africa or Asia or Australia, New Zealand, you get to understand, you know, what we're looking at, what levels to look out for. So we do work very hard in this community to keep everyone engaged. We answer a lot of questions. We have a community discussion channel, ICO channel. We also have an awesome equities analyst. He's in the stock market channel right here. He provides a lot of information, and you can have, you know, conversation with him if you have any questions. And yeah, that's it. All right. Again, cryptosomniac.com. Join the Advantage membership, and I will see y'all soon in the Discord. All right, our Moon Lounge. Cheers.